So many units, and we know so little information. That was an amazing 10th anniversary Dokkan pre-stream, and much like I think everyone is frothing at the mouth, we want to know what the hell goes in these slots here. I've got some theories, I've got some predictions, we're going to talk about it, and I want to see all your thoughts in the comments below. I know I'm going to get torn into, this is my list, it's what I want, and I know it's probably going to be wrong, because I was very wrong about my Sparking Zero roster prediction when I did that too. Anyway, this is what we have total for the revealed so far. There are, I've counted these up, there are a total of 22 slots on this thing here. 19 of which are empty. We already know 3 of them. We know our Super Saiyan 4 Goku Carnival, our Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta Carnival, and our Dokkan Fest Super Vegito. Now, the first thing that's caught a lot of people's minds is there's no way we're getting this many new units. As it says down here in the corner, includes new characters, characters who can be Extremely Awakened, or Super Extremely Awakened in the 10th Anniversary campaign. It's interesting as well, if you listen to what they said, they did say it also includes event characters. So, new characters is both summonable, and our free-to-plays we know that we're going to be getting. Now, that then leads us to the question, what is what? I've found something very interesting. Now, if you look at these squares, something you can notice is they're not sized equally. That's the first thing that me and a lot of people caught on. So I snipped one of the smaller squares here. We'll quickly take this and be able to drag it around. And if you have a look, all these smaller squares, like the Namek Saga and the Saiyan Saga, are identical in size. This second GT square over here is the same in size. The movies are the same in size for here and here, but notably, Buu Saga is a great example. This does not fit in these bottom two. It fits these top two, though. When you take this and put it over the summonable units, you quickly notice a trend. The 3 summonable new units that got revealed, very notably, are way bigger than these smaller squares. Well, it's okay, I know what you're thinking. Maybe just all the unrevealed squares are small. That is not the case. 2 of these squares for Super, as we just mentioned, 2 of these for Majin Buu, 1 for movies, 1 for Android Cell Saga, and the Dragon Ball square are all big squares. So, we counted these up. There are, overall, including the 3 we have revealed, 10 big squares and 12 small squares. The way I think this separates is simply new units versus old units. We have 10 big squares, meaning 10 new units to this celebration, and 12 small squares, meaning old units that are going to be getting Easy A's or Super Easy A's. This makes this nice and easy. We can't even break this by Saga too. Overall, Dragon Ball has 1 new square, or 1 new unit. GT has 1 new unit, 1 revival unit, we're going to call them that. Saiyan Saga, Namek Saga, 2 revival units. Cell Saga, 2 revival units, 1 new unit. Buu Saga, 3 new units, 2 revival units. Movies, 1 new, 2 revival. Super, 3 new, 1 revival. Notice some trends already. Now, we know with the part 2, we're going to be getting another Dokkan Fest and 2 more Carnival units. That only accounts for 6 of our 10 new units. What are the rest going to be? I think it's quite obvious that we're going to be getting, obviously, we're going to be getting free-to-play units. That's pretty locked in. We always get free-to-play banner units every single anniversary. I think separate to that as well, we're going to be getting banner units for the Dokkan Fest. 2 Dokkan Fest, 2 banner units. That's 9 already, 1 missing. Usually they actually give us 2 free-to-play units. I think the other one's also going to be event units. So I think we're going to have 8 summonable units, 2 Dokkan Fest, 2 banner, 4 Carnival, as well as 2 event units as well. Whether they're LRs or not's a different thing. I think they both might be LRs, but we'll talk about it. Now that that's out of the way, let's start thinking what is going to be in these squares. Let's get our predictions rolling. I think we can get some easy stuff out of the way. Let's look at some easy A's. Year 7s are guaranteed Easy A's. Every anniversary, we get a previous anniversary Extremely Awakening. Last year, we obviously got Year 6. This year, we're going to get Year 7. That's a lock. Likewise, Saiyan and Namek are pretty easy. It's going to be these units. It just fits everything about it's the most predictable thing. Namely, especially for the face with Namek and Saiyan, there's literally nothing else it could be. The fact we know it's going to be old units based on our square theory, our size square theory, there's nothing else it could be in these slots. I think it's a lock. Unfortunately, that's about where the easy stuff end. We do have one more easy thing to come, but that's a super easy A. Actually, two more super easy A's that are pretty easy to predict. I think we're going to get one more easy A, and I think that's going to be this Trunks. This Trunks is notably in the perfect spot right now along a lot of other units that have gotten easy A's. I was originally going to predict that we would get both this Trunks and the future 17 and 18 easy A's. I don't think we're going to get 17 and 18 yet. Namely because I think that they're going to be a different thing in that Cell Saga unit. It's going to be another super easy A. I think the big thing that Akatsuki risk with giving us too many easy A's is too many stones. Super easy A's notably give a lot less stones. I think they only give like, what, 5 or 10? Than an actual easy A, which is a full 30. Already, with the Year 7, the Science Saga, and the Namek Saga units, we're looking at a potential of, at worst, 90 stones if they do them as group ones. If they give them all a separate Extreme Z battle, you're looking at 180 stones. There's no way they're giving us much more than that. So I think potentially this will give us 210 stones if it's all easy A. But I think much more likely we get pair easy A's. Because they'd be crazy to give us that many stones, right? We can only wish. Next, we have two more easy locks, talking about super easy A's. The Year 1 anniversary units are guaranteed, right? There's no way these guys don't get a super easy A. They are right on time. We're actually even getting some super easy A's after them now. Namely, like we got Goku Black with a super easy A. These ones are definitely going to be, especially with the whole theme of the celebration of Dokkan's history. These were the first big units in Dokkan. Year 1 was insane for the game. Another one I think is an easy lock is a super easy A of Vegito. Again, it's right on time for it. I think that they could get this as the first 70% super easy A. It's again another unit famous in Dokkan's history. Then we get to some weird ones. Now, we've filled in almost all the small squares. There are 2 left. There is one in Cell Saga, one in Buu Saga. I think the Buu Saga one's pretty easy to predict. That's going to be Majin Vegeta. Again, history of Dokkan, 10th anniversary. This was the first summonable LR. Well, actually, it was the second. I do believe Broly was the first one. But unfortunately, there's no more spaces in the Z movie slot. I think this guy will get a super easy A, though, because with everything we've done with Buu Saga and stuff, when else are we going to get this thing? Kind of fits the theme, too. Strongest under the heavens. I think I see this guy getting a super easy A. The more I talk about it, the more I'm talking myself out of it. I'm gonna lock it in. We're gonna call it a day. And lastly, one more super easy A, and that's gonna be, I think, this Cell. Again, we're right on time for it. He's actually, I believe, the last Ki +3, Attack +3000 unit that hasn't gotten his super easy A, aside from Gogeta, which is definitely guaranteed. So there's no way we don't get him this celebration. And with that, all our small squares are filled. I'm pretty happy with these predictions. The other ones I think that are iffy are Cell and Majin Vegeta. Everything else is guaranteed, in my opinion. If I were to think what else could go in those slots, as I mentioned, they could maybe do the androids, but I think Cell's pretty safe. Likewise, replacing the Vegeta there, they could do another easy A. Unfortunately, there's really no super easy A's for Buu Saga that could be instead. But I'm pretty confident saying they're not going to do more easy A's than the bare minimum, which is Science Saga, Year 7, Namek Saga, and Cell Saga. That said, though, they could do something crazy and give both Cells super easy A, both the Perfect Cell and Perfect Form Cell. Might do that, actually, the STR one. That's possible. Now we get to the new units. I think we'll get the easiest one out of the way, and that's going to be the banner unit with Vegito. I think we're going to get a Kibito. Kibito Kai, rather. I've got a little theme behind the banner units, and that's basically things that facilitate the Dokkan Fest theme. Now, the Dokkan Fest theme is miraculous power from the strongest duo or something like that. Obviously, with Vegito, that's obvious, meaning we kind of know what the other one's gonna be. And I think the fact that Kibito Kai directly facilitates the Potara fusion through giving them and also showing how it works. Plus, he doesn't have a banner unit. He doesn't even have a summonable unit. There's obviously that really old Supreme Kai, but I think just a straight up Kibito Kai, another Potara buff, Realm of Kai buff, I could see this being possible. But before we get to the other summonable units, let's talk free-to-play. Obviously, as I said, there's going to be 2 free-to-play units. I'll get the easy prediction out of the way, and that's the fact that they're not giving us another summonable Buu Saga unit. We've gotten absolutely bombarded with summonable Buu Saga units. So I'm pretty confident in saying that that other slot there is a free-to-play slot. And I genuinely think it's going to be a free-to-play End of Z Goku. This makes the absolute most sense as well for both History of Dragon Ball and History of Dokkan Battle. There's really no good representation for End of Z in Dokkan. Dokkan Anniversaries also like to do units based on, like, openings and endings. So if it's not this, I could see it being an Angel Goku from the ending theme. We were angels, obviously. But I think just an End of Z Goku with the Power Pole, just a great unit, perfect free-to-play material, see this being possible. And with that, we're getting to the crunch time now. A lot of people think Dragon Ball is going to be a free-to-play LR. I don't want it to be. I want Dragon Ball to be a summonable unit in this celebration. A big reason for that, I think, is the fact that if Dragon Ball is on the Carnival banner, all 4 series have representation. Another part of that is the movie slot. If Dragon Ball is on the summonable Carnival banner, then what's the other free-to-play? Is it Cell Saga, is it movies, or is it Super? I think the other free-to-play is actually going to be movies, and I think it's going to be a World's Strongest free-to-play Goku. This does mean no Super Gogeta. And trust me, I feel very risky saying that. The chance of us not getting a Super Gogeta for an anniversary when we're getting a Super Vegito is crazy to say. I want to be the one to make the daring prediction and say we're not going to get it. As soon as they said that theme, the strongest under the heavens or whatnot it is, I instantly thought of World's Strongest. This Goku doesn't have representation. Another thing is they usually like to use the free-to-play units to show off the new gameplay mechanics. In this case, we've got that tag, you know, the reverse... I forget what they called it. But this guy could have that with Piccolo. I think also the animations would be crazy because the Kaioken, as you've seen with the art here, would go so hard. It's also the only Goku... the only movie hero unit that doesn't exist in Dokkan Battle. We have one for Garlic, we have one for Turles, or Tree of Might. Lord Slug doesn't really have one either, but it has a free-to-play one. Kinda counts. We got, obviously, both Cooler movies, all the Broly movies, Android 13, Fusion Reborn, Wrath of the Dragon. Nothing for World's Strongest. The only World's Strongest rep we have in the entire game is the free-to-play Wheelo. So why not accompany the free-to-play Wheelo with a free-to-play Kaioken Goku? That leaves our final 4, which is going to be the main event. I'm going to get the carnivals out of the way first and leave the Dokkan Fest till last. The first one is the one I want the most. I really want a Carnival Gohan into a Bye Guys Goku. This would be the coolest unit. We have been waiting for a Bye Guys for so long. Surely this is our time to get it. Along with that, also Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is a notorious unit in this game's history. It makes sense to give us a new one of him. Preferably one we can actually use this time, and not lock behind a transformation condition that's never going to happen. This is probably my biggest want for the summonable units for Part 2, and I really hope we get it. That leaves Super and Dragon Ball. As I said, I want Dragon Ball to be on the Carnival. I want it to be a Carnival, Goku, and Krillin. It fits the rival theme. This is Goku's first rival. Yamcha never counted. In fact, I believe the episode where Krillin appears is literally called Goku's Rival. Krillin needs to be represented under the rival's theme. I will not stand for slander from my boy. And I think a Kid Goku, Kid Krillin unit that fits that is perfect. They can even make this a Carnival reverse tag unit, where you can switch freely between the two. It also fits the theme, because it's World Tournament. Tenkai Muso, Tenkaichi Budokai. I really want this. But, that said, it's quite interesting. I think the colors are a bit of a part here. GT is red for the Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan for Z, obviously, the blonde. Blue for Super. Why is Dragon Ball green? And as much as I really want a Goku Krillin, I think the rival theme could also be filled with a Carnival Piccolo. It also would add some much-needed extreme representation. So, in all honesty, regardless of which of these two it's gonna be, I'm happy either way. As long as Dragon Ball is on that Carnival banner, that's all I stand for. I would prefer this, because again, Krillin, he's Goku's first rival, but I would understand if they did Piccolo. Final event. 2 slots left, it's the Dokkan Fest. As I'm sure a fair people were saying when I said no Super Gogeta. But hold on a second. The theme of the Dokkan Fest is miraculous power by the bond of strongest duo, whatnot. Miraculous power born from the strongest duo. It was really close. How is that anyone else but Gogeta if they did Vegito in part 1? And I agree. Thankfully, Gogeta is in more than just the Z movies. He is in Super. But hold on, we got Gogeta last anniversary. Yes, that is true. We also got Super Saiyan 4s 2 years in a row as well. There is a notable Gogeta unit that is missing from the game that has been asked for so long, and this is either that or it's something different. I think we are getting a Gogeta Blue Dokkan Fest, either in his final form, or they might do the tag thing as well. I think more accurately he'll just be straight up in his final form, and a banner unit will be Whis. I can now double back to my Kibito Kai banner unit and what I said about him. Kibito Kai is the thing that facilitated the Potara fusion. Whis is the thing that facilitated Goku and Vegeta's fusion, both through teaching them to work together, and also he kind of held Broly off a little bit. He talks about it. We already had a Golden Frieza last year. I don't think we'd get another Golden Frieza. Just wouldn't make sense. I also think Whis just fits well because being an angel, he is one of the strongest things under the heavens. I can really see this being the Dokkan Fest. This also doubles back to why I don't think we're going to get Super Gogeta and we're going to get Gogeta Blue instead. The banner unit. If Gogeta's the Dokkan Fest, he has to have a banner unit. As we've established, the big squares are the new units. If Super Gogeta is the Dokkan Fest, the banner unit has to be from Super. How do you connect those dots? How do you connect that logic? And I really just could not do it. I struggled more connecting those dots than I did establishing that there's no way they don't do Gogeta as a Dokkan Fest unit. And I remembered, well, they can do Gogeta as a Dokkan Fest unit, just they do Super Gogeta. Another reason I think this lines up well, obviously part 1 is GTZ Super, 3 series. Part 2, in my version, is Dragon Ball Z Super, 3 series. If we did Gogeta, we're doubling up on Z, and I don't see them doing that because it kind of ruins the whole full celebration and it ruins the color thing. If you look at the image of the 3 units that got revealed in part 1, there's a beautiful color dichotomy. I think they want to do the same in part 2, and that's why I am anxiously confident in my predictions here. As I already said, I want to see everyone else's predictions. I want to see them chucked down in the description, chucked down in the comments below. I want to know what everyone else thinks we're going to be getting. I really enjoy the discussion on this. There's a lot of obvious locks, as we've talked about, but I really just want to see what everyone else wants to do. I think one of the concepts I've seen thrown around I like a lot is getting a Tournament Power Trio unit, Goku, 17, Frieza. I don't know if that fits the Rivals theme, because Frieza and 17 aren't really rivals to Goku. So unless that was kind of mistranslated, I don't really see it. I think much more likely will be Krillin, as mentioned. If we weren't to get that, though, and we were to get another Super one to maybe fill that in, because effectively, if this is free-to-play, this is summonable, one of these has to go free-to-play. Super has to go free-to-play, rather. And I think we'd get a free-to-play Goku into Vegeta kind of like tag unit that way. Potentially something from Universe 6 versus 7 tournament. That said, though, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm confident in these picks. The only thing I'm not confident on is if we get, as mentioned, Krillin or Piccolo. I want Krillin. I'm going to stick with Krillin. I'll be doing plenty of 10th anniversary Dokkan content on the channel. I really, 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 really hope to see you all there. Please subscribe. Like if you enjoyed this video. Let's get the discussion going. I want to see everyone's opinions on this. Feel free to berate me in the comments. I know I'm going to get torn apart for not putting Super Gogeta down and putting the world's strongest instead.